Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, for the one person in attendance, me, and the maybe 100 watching around YouTube, let's get ready to review. Okay, I'll stop. What is up, guys? Data Rip One, and welcome back to another update / league review with your host, your boy Dave the Rip One. Now we got another great night, great week of fights to cover, and we got an even better one lined up. I say that every week, but it just keeps getting better, baby. It just keeps getting better. We had all kinds of great fights. Shout out to the Hodgett twins and Fight Night's Finest in that reference. Yeah, man, we got some great fights. We got some bombshells that went down. I can't wait to tell you guys about. But before we get into all that, I want to thank everyone who came out and participated and helped make last night's meeting a great success. We got some problems hopefully squashed and out of the way, and I do have some announcements, some things that are coming up. We are bringing back the pre and post fight interviews of the last league, a huge success. I know myself, I enjoyed the hell out of listening to those interviews pre and post fight, and I think they just added a new level to those fights, made them more exciting, made them just better. It was originally it was a suggestion by TurnUp to bring those back, and I was more than happy to oblige. So stay on lookout for the pre and post fights for the championship fights that we have coming up later on tonight. As of right now, this is only going to be for Sunday night fights. It's only going to be for top 10 fighters, and it's only going to be those who record their fights. Everything cool that we come out with from now on is going to be mainly for the guys who record their fights, and that is just to give you guys more incentive to record. It eliminates so many problems, and it makes things better, man. You can't tell me you like looking at a picture more than you do watching the whole fight and seeing how the fight goes down. So it's so easy to do. It eliminates all the he's spamming, he's running, he did. Shut up. Record your fights, or that's it. No bias there. It goes the same for everybody. So yeah, that is the first announcement. The second announcement was originally a suggestion by Ziana Armada that was molded into something different. He wanted to create a belt for the newer cats, for the prospects, of the best of those guys, which was a good idea, but we all think that it would not give them enough incentive to go ahead and graduate to the big leagues and go for the bigger titles. Like you see in the amateurs, some of these guys stay in the amateurs for 9-10 years, like the Fight Night Champion story mode. Gus said this guy's been the amateur champion for 9 years. Are you gonna let him make it 10? That's not what we want to see, man. We got enough ducking in this league already, and we don't need anything to contribute to that. But what we are going to implement is an award ceremony once a month, kind of like the titles that you have in Fight Night Champions, such as KO King. And we're going to mix in like a Grammy award video type thing. Once a month, we're going to have nominees for certain awards, such as the best new prospect, best rising star, best contender, KO King, maybe a sharpshooter for the most accurate fighters, and we're gonna have bad ones. We're gonna have gag awards, such as Ducker of the Month, Rope Shiner of the Month for you guys that like to run constantly, Smack Talker of the Month, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just something else to make it more fun, and give props to these guys that are really doing their thing and coming up in this league, man. Maybe the most consistent fighter of the month, for the guys that are constantly winning fights, or constantly keeping their belt, stuff like that. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing those two things implemented, and thank you once again to those who came out and participated in the league meeting. It's going to be every Friday night now. I thought AC Gaming was on Eastern Standard Time like myself, but he's on Central Time. So the league meetings are going to be Friday, probably. I think he came on at like 9:30 last week. So we're going to shoot for maybe 10 o'clock. Give him a half hour to get home, do what he's got to do, and then be able to conduct the meeting, and it'll be even better with AC Gaming there. He came in a little late this week. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the Sunday night fights and other fights that went down this week. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get into the first fight of Sunday Night Fights, episode 4, I believe. And as always, we start off with the WBC World Championship. Big Locks 83 going up against Doc Doser. Both of these men, legends in the game. Doc Doser, a big name on YouTube. Big Locks just starting out. Shout out to that man. Go check his channel out. He's a great competitor, great fighter, and an OWC legend. Doc Doser came into this fight with a lot of momentum, as did Big Locks. Big Locks doesn't even need to be said. As to this point, he was 8-0 in the league, completely dominant. Doc Doser, since his loss to Big Locks earlier in the league, completely dominant, coming off a beautiful KO victory off the other com coming into this fight, and everybody thought that Doc Doser, with his patience and good timing, could be the one to finally hand Big Locks his first loss. This fight did not disappoint, guys. It was a seesaw battle earlier on. Big Locks comes in, wins the first. Doc Doser comes out, wins the second and the third. Big Locks wins the fourth. Doc Doser comes back and wins the fifth. There's a seesaw. After that, however, Big Locks comes in, wins the sixth, seventh, catches not one but 2 knockdowns in the 8th round, wins the 9th, but your boy Doc Doser comes back with some hope, scores a knockdown in the 10th round. Big Locks wins the 11th and seals the deal with 2 more knockdowns in the 12th round to get the KO victory over Doc Doser, 105-102, to retain his WBC championship. So we take a look at the punch stats here. There was some controversy about the amount of straights that Big Locks threw, and you know, I gotta admit it was quite borderline. But you know, if you watch this fight, there's very few points in this fight where it actually looks like he's spamming. Most of them are worked in with good combinations, and you know, unfortunately, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Big Locks able to retain his WBC championship. Great fight, guys. Looking forward to more epic fights like this. The next fight, ladies and gentlemen, of course, for the WBO championship and another very anticipated matchup, we have the returning Fight Night's Finest going up against the WBO champion, Ziana. Now, everybody knows by now that in the tournament, Ziana was the first man to give Fight Night's Finest a defeat, thus eliminating him from the tournament. So Fight Night's Finest was coming for his revenge and was looking to continue the quest of rising to the top of the league and taking out anyone in his path, not just the Bandcamp members, but just anybody. And looking to get his revenge on Ziana. I could not wait to see this fight, and you know, it's just another one of these fights that did not disappoint. Seesaw battle at first. Fight Night's Finest comes out, wins the first. Ziana wins the second. Fight Night's Finest comes back, wins the third. Ziana wins the fourth. Fight Night's Finest wins the fifth. Ziana wins the sixth. Fight Night's Finest wins the seventh. But after that, ladies and gentlemen, it was all Ziana coming out, winning the 8th, 9th, 10th, scoring 2 knockdowns in the 11th, and another 2 knockdowns in the 12th to end this by decision. Fight Night's Finest props for getting up 4 times, man. Ziana ends up pulling off a 116-108 decision over Fight Night's Finest. You know, this was a really close fight, no matter how you look at it, guys. In these later rounds, man, it seemed like the scorecards, they could have went either way, man. I even, you know, no disrespect to Ziana, but those later rounds, I even think that, you know, a couple of those, maybe one or two of those should have went to Fighting His Finest. But it is what it is, man. Very enjoyable fight, and props to Louisiana for continuing to remain dominant and to remain champion. Good fight, gentlemen. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we go into the IBF Championship debacle that went down. It was originally supposed to be Dave the Rip One, yours truly, going up against Militia Matic in a grudge/rematch. But that is not how this fight ended up going down. Militia Matic took some losses throughout the week, and it looked like NS Houston was the better man for the title shot. So what ended up happening was NS Houston ended up going up against Militia Matic for the right to face me for the IBF Championship. NS Houston brings us the scorecards at the 8th round. Militia Matic winning the first, NS Houston winning the second, Militia Matic winning the third, NS Houston winning the fourth, Militia Matic winning the 5th, 6th, and 7th. But after that, ladies and gentlemen, it was all NS Houston. Militia Matic having some stamina problems, and NS Houston ends up coming back to KO Militia Matic. He gets not one knockdown, not two knockdowns, not three, but wait, there's more, ladies and gentlemen, not four. Not even four. He gets it counted. 5 knockdowns to KO Militia Matic, with the end result being 84-85. With your winner in a ESPN Classic fight, as you guys can see right now. Great fight, guys. KO victory by NS Houston. So with that being said, it would be NS Houston going up against yours truly for the IBF Championship. And ladies and gentlemen, this was another great fight. Me and NS Houston always have great fights, man. I'm the one that brought NS Houston into the first league. I discovered this man in OWC. We had a very tight, very close fight, but at the end of the day, NS Houston whooped your boy's ass. And I said, I gotta get this man in the league. And, you know, at the point this fight went down, NS Houston had been simply dominant. After training with HZ for some time, he came out and he just looked sharp as ever in that fight against Militia Matic, man. Footwork was on point, combinations on point. He's got that southpaw stance, which causes problems for a lot of people, including myself. But let's go ahead and get into this fight, man. You know, this was just a really, really close fight starting out. No knockdowns in this fight whatsoever, just back and forth action, man. So let's go into it. Day to Rip One, myself, I come out, I win the first, I win the second. NS Houston wins the third and the fourth, but unfortunately for NS Houston, that is where his night ends. Sorry, my brother. I come out and I win the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and the 12th to retain my IBF Championship, 118-109. Honestly, I think maybe the nerves of this being a championship fight maybe got to NS Houston. He seemed a little hesitant, like, you know, that happens to the best of us, man. It's happened to me before. You know, I think what I did good in this fight was, you know, I ended up taking the outside away from NS Houston, which is where he likes to be now, and you know, I was able to just come in, land the first shot, wait for him to come in and counter. And that's it. You know, great fight to NS Houston, and you know, great fight in general. Great championship fights. Shout out to all the competitors. And so yeah, let's go get into some other fights that went down this week. Now, you guys remember earlier in this video when your boy Day the Rip One said we had a bombshell that went down this week in fights. You remember that? You remember? Well, if you didn't, you should go get your head checked, because that's only like a couple minutes ago, man. But this is that bombshell. Big Lock's coming off a very close victory over Doc Doser for the WBC Championship. This man is a fighting champion. He has no problem fighting at any time, any place. He's used to doing it. What is it, 6 times a day in Fight Night Champion OWC? You gotta defend your title to keep it. So he's used to busting heads all day, every day. So when Lanto 209 says, I want a title shot. He says, bring it, biatch. And that's exactly what happens. Unfortunately, though, with Big Lox, this fight did not go his way. I think we saw a much different Big Lox. I think he might have been trying too hard to change his style due to the spamming allegations of the last fight. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into this bombshell of a match that went down. Big Lox, as he usually does, comes out dominant at first, wins the first, second, the third, but Lanto, with a huge momentum shift, comes out in the fourth, scores the only knockdown of the fight. Big Lox comes back strong in the fifth. Lanto comes back and wins the sixth. Big Lox comes back and wins the seventh. You see, this is the weakest seesaw battles, guys. But after that, ladies and gentlemen, it was pretty much all Lanto figuring out a way to get through Big Lox's good clean combinations and his outside game, winning the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Big Lox come back and wins the 12th, but it's too late. Ends up being a 13-14 decision for your new WBC champion, Lanto 209. Craziness. But they had a pretty close fight the last fight, so you know it was known that this could happen. You know what I mean? First off, I want to give a shout out to Big Lox 83 for being a great champion, man. He's had a great run as champion. He's been busting heads, but more importantly, he's been a class act, man. After every fight, good fight, no drama, no beef, no bullshit. That is exactly the kind of people that we want in this league. Shout out to Lanto 209. But now, my brother, you got the bullseye on you. And another thing it means is you got to start recording your fights. Every single fight you have that you defend to keep your belt, you have to record it. So, let's go ahead and get into some of the other fights that went down this week, as if we haven't had enough great fights to last y'all a month. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have two league members coming off tough losses, both looking to get revenge, both looking to get that big win to get on the right track and find their way back to a championship competition. We have Big Lox 83, former WBC champion, and we have NS Houston 713 coming off a tough loss for an IBF championship opportunity. So, beginning of the fight, Big Lox comes out, wins the first round, but ladies and gentlemen, this fight was pretty much all NS Houston, showing that that loss did not affect him much at all. Big Lox, however, can't say the same. I don't think we saw the same Big Lox that we've seen in previous fights from the Doc Doser fight before. I think those spamming accusations really got to him. I know this man is a class act, and he's a great champion, and he doesn't like, you know, having any controversy surrounding his name. He's a clean fighter, and he likes to be thought of as such. So I really think that this is what's getting in his way, and he's not throwing, you know, that great straight that he has in fear of being called a spammer. And I really think that that is why you're seeing some of these results. But that has taken nothing away from NS Houston, who comes out, wins the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Big Lox comes out, wins the 8th, but NS Houston wins the 9th, scores a knockdown in the 10th to end the fight 97-92. Kind of a blurry scorecard there, so sorry guys. And a great fight. Big Lox, my man. You know, whatever you need to do to help you get back on track, if you need to spar, I'm here, man. We can do it. You know, Bandcamp's got your back, you know that. And great fight to both gentlemen, man. That's all I can say about this one. Next up, guys, I bring you yet another match from NS Houston, man. That man is always in the ring, always looking for a fight. So if you ever want to, you know, bust some heads or probably get your head bust, hit that man up, man. He's always down to beat somebody's ass. This fight, he brings you one of the new cats in the league, one of the more promising new cats in the league, my man, TurnUp 3000. This guy has a lot of potential. A couple people say he spans, but I have never seen anything but good, clean boxing from this man. He talks a lot of shit, but that's nothing wrong with that, man. as long as when the fight is over, you can humble up like we've been preaching on for weeks now. You know, I got no problem with TurnUp, man. You know, easily a potential nominee for Prospect of the Month. So let's go ahead and get into the fight. NS Houston, as usual, brings us the fight at the 8th round. TurnUp starts off strong, comes out, wins the first and the second. NS Houston wins the third and the fourth. There was a knockdown scored somewhere earlier in the fight between the 8th round, or before the 8th round. You know, these scorecards are really blurry, so I can't really tell when the knockdown took place, but TurnUp did score one knockdown, so let's get that out of the way before we go. TurnUp wins the first and the second, and NS Houston third and the fourth. TurnUp comes back, wins the fifth and the sixth. NS Houston comes back, wins the seventh and the eighth. TurnUp wins the ninth, and another seesaw battle. Look at them scorecards, man. TurnUp wins the ninth, but NS Houston comes back to score, I believe, 3 knockdowns in the 10th round, leaving nothing to these judges who are fickle as fuck sometimes and be fucking up decisions, in my opinion. NS Houston comes back to win it 92-94 in a good decision win over one of the rising stars in the Planet Champion Middleweight League. Great fight to NS Houston, and great fight to TurnUp 3000, man. To come out and go up against a veteran like NS Houston, and you know, not only not get your ass knocked out, but to win some of the rounds. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Good fight. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, to my knowledge, I bring you the last video fight of the review. We are working on getting a section of the forum where you guys can go and post who you fought, how the fight went down, whether you lost by KO or decision or won by KO or decision. That way there's no confusion when I go to make these videos. You know what I mean? I can simply go and check the forum and make sure I don't miss anybody's fights. But as of right now, I believe this is it, and I bring you 2 of the newer guys in the league. Slongcut 199 has been around since the tournament, but Bandit just started in the league not too long ago. Homeboy, maybe even cousin, I'm not sure how that goes, of NS Houston. You know, Bandit has potential, but he has a lot to learn. And Slongcut, you know, is one of the more veteran guys, you know what I mean, able to compete with some of the top guys. So, you know, this was an interesting fight. As most fights that come to us from NS Houston, I think this is where that fight went down. They did it over at NS Houston's house. It comes to us at the 8th round. I really wish that you could find a way to get the whole fights in, simply because you guys have some epic fights, man. And, you know, people would like to see that. But Slongcut scores a knockdown somewhere before the 8th round, so keep that in mind. Slongcut comes out, wins the first and the second. Bandcamp comes back, wins the third. Slongcut wins the fourth. Bandcamp comes back once again, wins the fifth and sixth. Slongcut comes in, wins the 7th and 8th, and another seesaw battle. And Bandit wins the 9th and 10th to make it a 95-94 split decision victory for Slongcut 199. That knockdown ended up making the difference. The first judge's scorecard has it 95-94 Slongcut. The second one has it 94-95 for Bandit. The third and final judge has it 95-94 for Slongcut 199, the victor of this league fight. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the fights that we have had down this week. So what I want to do right now, like every week, I want to go into the league rankings, and then we will get into the announcements for this week's Sunday night fights. Alright guys, like every week, we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at the league ladders, and then we will get into tomorrow night Sunday night fights that we got lined up for you guys. This league ladder might be a little bit different from the time I make this to the time you see it posted. It's constantly being updated, but the last time it was updated was 1/23/14 at 9:30 p.m. Central Time, which is a time zone that your boy HC Gaming is in. Props to him for putting this whole thing together once again. the league ladder and the forum. So starting off right at the top, man, the new WBC champion, El Lato 209. 7 wins, 4 losses, 4 KOs. He's had his ups and downs in the league, but he showed without a shadow of a doubt where he belongs, and that is at the top of this league. Ziana, undefeated since the start of the league. 5-1, 2 KOs. Just simply dominant since his loss in the tournament to AC Carnage. Nobody's been able to touch him. We'll see how that goes this Sunday night. But your boy, yours truly, Day the Rip One, 8-0-4. No losses since the start of the league. D Other Com is at number 1 right now with 4-4-2. Smackhead 666, you gotta get at me, bro. Let me know what's going on. I hate to see you drop down in rank simply because of inactivity. 4-4-2. Militiamatic 3-5-1. JBL 2-2-0. NS Houston working his way back up from number 10. He should be at number 1, man. Because that's where he belongs. Look at that record, 12-5-4. I have no doubt in my mind that he will be up here sometime soon. HC Gaming, 2-1-1. I can't wait to see your boy getting into some more fights. Fight Night Finest following his loss to Ziana last week, 3-1, and he has 3 KOs, I believe. I believe he KO'd Breezy and he KO'd NS Houston. So I might have to get that fixed. TurnUp 3000, 7-3-3. You saw his fight against NS Houston. Great fight, man. Doc Doser coming off the tough loss to Big Locks, 4-1-1. Big Locks 83 gets his first 2 tastes of defeat, losing to El Lato and then to NS Houston, 9-6 and 2 KOs. Do not give up on this man. I'm telling you, he's coming back strong. AC Carnage, still, MIA as of right now. I'm confident we will see him again. 6-2, 3 KOs. Slowly moving his way down the ladder from inactivity. España Armada, 9-2-3. Another guy that has a lot of potential. Pandemonium 808, 6-2-3. Looking forward to seeing him come out with some more fights. Iraqi Cod, 4-5-3, kind of been inactive lately. Looking to see him get some more fights in. Slung Cut 99, 6-4-3. Muffle Snuffle 1-0-1. Dot KO. Looking forward to seeing him get some more fights in. 4-2-3. The Get Hit Man, 7-5-4 KOs. This man needs to get out of his own fucking way and start fighting again and make his way up to the top. This guy easily has the potential to be champion, but for some reason he is content to stay a journeyman. Everybody should be pressuring this man to get some better fights in. We need guys like him. I Test Spammers, 4-3-1. G Butt 11, 2-1-1. Bandit SKO, Houston's homeboy, 2-1-1. Loco P420, 4-5-2. Looking forward to seeing him get some more fights in. Always a beast. Reezy Too Cold, 4-3-2. That's my boy right there, man. Looking forward to seeing him work his way up and get better. Young Money Save On, 2-2-0. And Professor 313, I believe he got his first league fight in. I gotta look. I think he might have sent me the pictures. I think he sent him to AC Gaming, but I will check it out. Super Stuffing, sparred him the other night. He's a new guy in the league. A lot of potential there. And but the rest of these guys, are all inactive as of right now. Last Sunday night fights: Big Locks, Doc Doser, Ziana Finest, and Dave the Rip One. Supposed to be versus Militiamatic, but we're gonna go ahead and get into next Sunday night fights. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into Sunday night fights at last. We have got another star-studded, hard-hitting night of fights for you guys so far. And remember, this doesn't have to be it. If it's not too late to get a fight in that you want, simply message me, message AC Gaming, message the opponent that you want to fight, and we will set it up. So, we're going to start off from the top. The WBC Championship fight. The newly crowned WBC champion El Lato 209 goes up against the WBO champion Ziana. Ziana looking to take that next step and become the WBC champion. And as far as, you know, having the hardest first title fight or first title defense, I think this takes the cake, man. Ziana has been dominant. And, you know, Lonto, you got a tough match coming up, man. They had a great fight a while back for the WBO belt. Ziana able to pick up that victory. So, you know, it could not be looking so good for Lonto 209, man. But after that great win over Big Box, he's got to be feeling confident. And that is a fight that I simply cannot wait. Cannot wait to see. So that leaves the WBO championship vacated. And it's not going to be vacated for long because your boy Data Rip One's got it in his sights, yo. I want that WBO championship. I'm undefeated. I'm looking to move my way up just like with Ziana. And I bring you guys the fight that we should have seen last week. The fight that I personally wanted to see last week. You know, no disrespect to my boy Ennis Houston, but I got something I gotta rectify, man. Rectify, testify, whatever you want to say. Data Rip One versus Militia Matic. Not really a grudge match anymore, but it's definitely an anticipated rematch. Everybody knows how the first one went down. It was a lot of trash talk. No excuses from me. I lost that fight clean. But, you know, I got in my own head there a little bit, and I feel that was the reason why that happened. But it's going to be a great fight, and, you know, make sure you guys tune in for that. But for the IBF Championship, this is easily going to be the greatest fight of the night, and it's not even for the WBC Championship. No disrespect to Lonto, Ziana, myself, or Militia Matic, but I have been waiting almost a year to see this next match, man. One of the top, it's got to be the biggest heated rivalry out of the whole start of this YouTube thing. Two pillars in the Fight Night Champion YouTube community. Fight Night's Finest versus HZ Gaming for you. These men have clashed heads a couple times. It's always been anticipated. It's always been heated. It's always been great fights, man. The first time Fight Night's Finest went up against HZ Gaming, he was able to successfully defeat HZ Gaming. But HZ Gaming, the next time they fought, pulled the old switcheroo. Went undercover as the true Fight Night prospect. If you guys didn't know that, sorry to blow you out of the water, bro, but they know now. HZ Gaming is the true Fight Night prospect. And when they met again for the WBC unification match in the last league, HZ Gaming / the true Fight Night prospect fooled us all, able to defeat Fight Night's Finest. So they are now 1-1. So they meet up once again, head to head, for the world to see on YouTube. This is going to be a great fight, and make sure you stay tuned for the pre-fight interview coming up later on tonight for all the championship bouts. And man, this is going to be a great fight, man. I don't even want to say who's going to win. I don't even want to say who I think is going to win, man. You know, it's hard to say because they're both my boys, man. Fight Night's Finest has always had my back. HZ Gaming, go back for years, man. Go back for years. So, you know, this is going to be easily, you know, I said a while back that my fight with AC Carnage in the tournament was probably the fight of the year, but this got to be it, man. I don't know how this fight's going to go down, but I cannot fucking wait to see it, yo. I cannot wait. So that is it, I believe. That is it for the fights that we got coming up. Like I said, make sure you let us know, you know, if you want to fight somebody. And stay tuned for the pre-fight interviews coming up. And yeah, I think that is pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I apologize if I left anything out whatsoever. I will cover it in the next review video. I'm not perfect, man. You know, these things change all the time, and it's quite possible for things to get in and slip through the cracks. And when you're talking live, when you can't go back and hit that edit button, you know, sometimes I'll say one or two things that are wrong here and there. I call them typos, but really they're sapos, whatever you gotta call it, man. I fuck up sometimes, and I apologize. I am not perfect. But I am, however, out. This is Data Rip One. Have a good night. Have a good night of fights tomorrow night. Peace.